Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the task for day one of the 2018 two-seater nationals. I've actually already flown day 6 ahead of this in virtual reality because it was fun to do, and Andy Parish, my P1 pilot, suggested I do that one first, and I've actually flown that one with a ghost. Flew it twice, and then the second time I sort of raced myself, and it made quite an entertaining video. But having had my fun doing day 6 first, it's now time to start working my way through the days, or as many of them as I feel like doing, probably sort of chronologically. So this is day 1, and because it's a 346k task, and I really don't fancy doing it in one, and also it's a big investment in screen capture if it goes wrong and you've done it all with the commentary and things only to find it hasn't recorded. I'm breaking these tasks down into 2 parts. So this is part 1 of it. And what we'll do is we'll launch from Husbos and fly down to the, is it the second turning point? Anyway, down by Oxford. And then we'll do an aerial finish at an appropriate height, which I hope works because I've kind of set a minimum height on the aerial finish, and I'm not really used to doing that kind of thing. So that could be a waste of time if it doesn't work, but we're going to give it a go anyway. And so it's about 100k we're flying. And then what I'll do when I want to fly part 2 is I'll do an aerial start from the same turning point at the same appropriate height, and we'll carry on. And from what I remember of this day, I flew between a third and a half maybe of the task, probably more like a third, I think. And it was good of Andy to let me do it, but in the end I think I was keen to watch him, watch a really good pilot do it and try and learn from that. We didn't do particularly well on the day. I think we came last or second from last, but we got round the task, and the time was respectable enough. It's just that the winners were really fast guys. The other thing that slowed us up was that when we got past the turning point at Oxford, which will be part 2 of the task when we fly. When we got past there, we didn't read the sky ahead in enough time. The lift weakened, and we got low coming out of Oxford and had to do a kind of recovery climb from quite a low height. And that really sort of slugged our performance. We were doing quite well till then, but that really slugged us. That's probably what dropped us down the positioning quite a lot. So in Condor 3, where you can set weather zones, I have set a zone of weakness coming out of Oxford. Don't know how well it'll translate into the experience we had on the real flight at the time. I don't know, but we'll give it a go. But for the rest, the conditions are set for strong, because I'm not out to make you watch any more than you have to, assuming you want to watch this at all, of course, by watching me attempt to get round the task exactly as it was when I don't have Andy's flying skills and things. So I'm just having a bit of fun romping around it. So I don't think there's anything else to say. We're carrying 170 pounds of water ballast. I can't remember how much we carried on the task. But anyway, I'm going for half water ballast and go with that. And I think I've got my P2 in the back seat. Yeah, that would be me in real life. And on this day, I flew with Andy Parish, who was at the time the CFI at Yorkshire Gliding Club, and we were flying in their DG1000 call sign Delta Sierra 2 DS2, but I don't know if there is a DG1000 in Condor. There may well be, but the one that's free is a 2-seater and very equivalent really is the Duodiscus. So I'm flying all these tasks in a Duodiscus, and it looks like today we've got a Wilga for the tug, which they did indeed have down at Husbos during the task. Don't think I ever got an Aerotow behind a Wilga, but anyway, a bit of fun. So right, let's do our pre-flight checks. Well, I unpaused. Time already before I pause. Yeah, okay. Let's get the tug across, and while I'm doing that, we'll just check the controls are working. Set the trim forward. Brakes are closed and locked. Canopy's down and locked. We've done eventualities, all that kind of sort of thing. The weights we all know because we're all set up for it. Here comes the Wilga. The wind is 299 at 8 knots, I think. And we're taking off to the west here from Husbos, which is what we did on the actual day. Handle the plane well enough because it's a bit heavy. I'm not doing a very good job here for some reason. I allowed it to get offline a bit, but we're okay. We're back in line now, I think. Off we go on day 1 of the task. And gosh, I remember this sort of, because I'd never done anything like this in my life, and to suddenly find myself sitting in the back seat on a UK national competition in the back seat of a high-performance TG1000, which is a pretty good glider. The top gliders there were Arcuses, very expensive gliders, very smart. But the TG1000 is not bad, and there's a point where it comes down to the pilot, of course, as well. We didn't have any motor in DS2, whereas quite a lot of the planes had motors in them, which, you know, makes it psychologically a bit better, because if things go pear-shaped, they can light up the motor and go home rather than us. Whereas if we get it wrong, we land out and someone has to come and retrieve us, and then we're all potentially a lot more tired for the day after as a result. Seems to be wandering about a bit behind the tug, so sorry about that. Need to settle in a bit. Much talking I'll do on this flight. I'll do as much or as little as I feel like. There's the tug going through a thermal, and just I think seems to rise up a bit there. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Right now I ought to concentrate on my toe and staying behind the tug. If anything, it's harder to do it in Condor with this kind of desktop joystick than it is in real life. But still, as long as we can get the job done. I remember towing out in this direction towards, are we starting at, yeah, I suppose start west, and Andy was busy flying, but I could look up to my 1 o'clock high and see all these gliders up there. There's some lift there by the look of it, but I can't see a cloud. Because you know, you can get thermals that haven't developed a cloud, especially in Condor, when you start circling, and while you're circling the cloud develops. But yeah, all these gliders there, I thought, we're not seriously going to join all that lot, are we? And they're all circling around like, you know, sharks in a tank or something, all trying to share the same thermal, or a couple of thermals perhaps, and to get high, and they want to be nice and high, ready for when the start gate opens, so they can head straight off on task or choose their moment. They might choose their moment depending on how the sky looks ahead. But in the meantime, they're all hanging around in this area, right? I'll pull twice to release the thingy, wheel up, off we go. Right, let's not chat for a moment, let's see if we can find some lift and identify us. Okay, so our start sector's over there somewhere. So what are we, nearly 3,000 feet. How far do I go before I look for lift? Bearing in mind, we are the gate opens in 3 minutes, but we don't have to start 3 minutes. It's open for a while. I think I'll go straight ahead for this cloud for the moment. Be too out of the starting box. Let's hope we can reach it okay and find lift and not have been over ambitious. It's just Murphy's law, isn't it, that there isn't a lovely juicy cloud right where we release from the tug. Strictly speaking, I should have paid more attention rather than chatting to you guys and pulled off the tug when we were actually going through some strong lift. That's probably one of the lessons that Condor tries to teach you if you don't pay attention. That looks to be Lutterworth over there at 1 o'clock. What's that over at our 11 o'clock? I can't quite make that out. A bit further off, isn't it? Probably need to... it looks like Rugby. Okay. Very handy, this Alex. I mean, you have to sort of peer right in at it sometimes to be able to read it. But you can read it when you peer right in. Very good, this virtual reality cockpit. Okay, we've lost about 500 feet getting here. There's a cloud there that looks like it might be a bit new, but I think I'm going to go for the... I don't know, let's track via this one and see what we find. If we find something there, it'll do us. If not, we'll go on to the big one, but it's just a little bit nearer, isn't it? It might be a new one that's developing, so I'm going to watch it. I don't need a great climb, I just need a climb. Hang on, things are starting to happen. Nothing proper yet though. Okay, I'm going to start going around this way. Maybe I'm carrying ballast, so I mustn't go too slow, but I'm going to try and fly nearer to 50 knots to see how I get on. Need to get this lift centered. I think right now, to be honest, I need to get a climb, even if this isn't the best one on the planet. I'm going to... Sorry, I was busy watching the LX there instead of the SI. Punting thought there, just going over the nose. I remember looking at that while Andy was flying, watching all these gliders who are up here. I'm thinking, I don't know how he does it. Can't see the cloud up there. I know there is. Playing around with the trimmer on the joystick, but it's not like a trim in a real glider. You kind of never quite sure whether it's helping you to circle better, because you don't feel a load on the joystick like you would in a real plane, and the center in it is a little bit vague. Anyway, we're climbing steadily away here. This is okay. I'm quite happy with this. Opening the turn slightly and then turning in again a bit. See whether that improves it a bit. I do have some turbulence set in my thermals to make them just a little bit more interesting. That means that centering the lift is just a little bit less straightforward than if they were completely even all the way around. I'm not really too worried about my climbing performance here, as long as it's a useful rate, and 2.3 is a useful enough rate. And that's 2.3 on the averager, sort of there on the LX, and that's in meters per second, I think, so you can double that, so averaging, sort of best part of 5 knots climb. And we're probably actually not under the best cloud here, but as I said earlier, I don't really care. As long as I'm climbing, that will do me for now. I just want to climb to get up to as high as possible. I'm in the start zone, so that's good, quite well placed. And incidentally, I may waffle away sounding knowledgeable about all of this, but any real serious pilots listening to this, especially competition ones, will probably pick me up on all kinds of things that I'm saying. But hey, I'm me, old geezer, flying in VR, learning how to do it here as best I can, and enjoying myself. So we seem to have stayed at 2.3 meters per second on the average now, don't we? But we're going round and round reliably. Gone through 5,000 feet, that's okay. I do love VR. I mean, look at the lovely weather we're having in 2018 in the virtual world. And I flew the Day 6 task yesterday while Storm Ewan was raging outside, and couldn't have cared less really. And today it's been a rather nice day today actually, but I didn't get around to going for a walk. And tomorrow I think there'll be another storm or gales or rain coming through. So there you go. And this is so realistic, this VR world for this kind of thing. I mean, it's just great. I'm not paying attention. I'm losing the lift here a bit. It looks as though my thermal might be dying anyway. So with that in mind, let's have a bit of fun seeing if we can find something else that's got lifted a bit near the task start. No, probably not. Well, let's go around to this bunch of cloud here and see if we can just top up our height over here as best as possible, and then we can go towards the start gate. It's probably, there's a bit of a whisper cloud there. That's the remains of the thermal we were under, I think, but hopefully there's something under this cloud. Oh, airspeed a bit low there. Started on task, but I can restart. There's the lift under this cloud. There must be some. Let's have a little wander just for fun. We're not rushing anywhere at the moment. Nothing there. Let's traverse to the other side of the cloud, see whether I'm just under the wrong bit of it. That at 1 o'clock looks like a nice juicy bit, doesn't it? But let's go by here and then over to there. Very like real life this. I can remember on many occasions having to do this kind of thing underneath clouds to find the bit that was good. good. 3.6. I don't know why there's something there that's blocking the whoops, sorry, not watching the speed there. Let's get my speed settled down. Too busy waffling about LX nav aids when I should be flying. 3.5 on the average, that's quite good. And we can nip into the start box again when we're probably tapped up on height, ready to kind of, you know, race off. Great this. We're averaging 7 knots. Hoping to get up just a little bit to see whether I can get an even better climb. Yeah, maybe a bit, yeah, 3.6 on the averager. I wish that little symbol that's plotting out the figures would go away. I'm not sure why that's there, not seen that before. Right, we're above cloud base in some places, we're going into cloud. So let's straighten up towards the start box. Get ready to restart the task. Through cloud, I don't care about that, just watch the speed a bit. Don't know quite why the whole LX display changed there, but we're hope we're in the start box. Yeah, restarting task. Right, click confirm we're starting. Oh no, sorry. Right, okay, so now we have to go up to Chatteris, okay. So let's I know from flying with the same weight in similar conditions yesterday that we should be good for like 90 to 95 knots on the for our interthermal speed. So we'll get ourselves settled down to that. Lots of good looking clouds about. I'm going to try and grope. There might be a little bit of noise while I do this. I'm going to try and grope for the right control key on the keyboard that allows me to switch, well, first of all look for my McCready number and raise that up, and then also switch between thermaling mode on the S10, that's this one here, this instrument here at the top right, to switch between cruise and thermal mode, speed of flying thermal. I'm still trying to learn how to do this myself, so I would like to practice it. So let's see if we can trim the glider out to fly itself while I take my hands off the joystick. Find the McCready thing. Yeah, we'll put it up to about 3. That's the little blue triangle you can see. We'll put McCready up to 3. And then we will... Right, so we're on speed to fly now. I'm trying to get used to what this means. Now, it probably means I should be going faster than this. Yeah, to get the red needle now should be on the 0. I think that's the plan. I'm at the right speed to fly. Right. Oh, I don't know why it's suddenly... Well, no, see, this is the downside of this. Now I want thermal mode, and it's not making the right noise. So I'm not going to use that speed to fly. I'm just not sure what that's all about. We're off track at the moment, but we might as well go under this cloud, see if there's any energy there. No, it looks a bit dissipated, doesn't it, really? So let's get back on track. Right, got my next cloud, that's over the nose. Just get absolutely on track and see what we get. Yeah, I think we'll probably go for that. I mean, we could go for the long stuff, but you never know whether it's going to be working by the time you get to one that far off. Plus, you'll be that much lower, and as you get lower, the pressure comes on a bit. So let's just see how, and this is looking pretty dead ahead, isn't it? So let's just go for this one. And we'll go for 90 to 95 knots, I think. And we shouldn't be stopping for things that are giving us, well, maybe a little under 3 knots averager, but not much under. I wish I could understand what all that speed to fly thing's about. It seems when you put the variometer in that mode, though, that what's your speed? Going a bit too fast. It seems that you can't get your variometer noise or your normal variometer function as well. You've got the winter one down there, but I think the other, I like to have a nice audio. I think the audio is functioning off of the S10. So see, not really knowing. So on this section, I was doing the flying. I flew us down to the first turning point, and I think I flew us a little along the second leg as well. So on the real task, which was being shoved in the deep end, really, since I'd never flown a competition before in my life of any sort, and only have low hours. There you go. I did my best. I didn't do badly, actually, otherwise he wouldn't have let me have a go. But I seem to recall, though I didn't do badly, I think it was unravelling my nerves, you know, and I don't think I could see I would have fallen to pieces over the length of the task. So I did a certain amount and then invited him to take back control and show me how it was done. Let's see what we're going to get here. We're going to get anything here? Turn the wrong way. It looks like I might have done, but it doesn't matter. We'll get centered. I'm in the wrong place. Big cock up here. Totally cocked up that one. Right. Let's not weep over it. Let's just get back on track. Might bump into it on our way. Good thermal there, but obviously not. One of the problems is when you're racing along too fast, is that if you don't get it absolutely right, pulling up into the thermal, you can just miss it altogether. So there is a case for slowing up a bit as you get kind of near the thermals, but it doesn't seem particularly good anyway, does it? So I think we might give it just a little bit more of an effort, but better out of it soon. I think we're going to move on. I mean, there's definitely my flying has not been great here. I don't think I've done a particularly good job at centering the symbol, but equally I don't think it's a stunner. So let us carry on. One up ahead. A bit younger actually, doesn't it? I think possibly. See how we go with it. Just landing more positive getting to my speed to fly, and I really must learn to actually pull up sharpish and get straight into a core. Yeah, this looks a good cloud really. Quite well defined, so where it is where the lift should be, but we shall see. Check there's no other gliders before I turn. I won't always remember to do that in VR because frankly I know perfectly well there are no gliders, so it's all a bit academic really. Get off to one side of it a bit so we can decide which way to turn. Slow up a bit. Still not getting great climbs, am I? Not to worry. just a bit nervous really and unsettled, just like I would have been on the day, and it's affecting my flying. They're not climbing well enough really, but I'm inclined to forgive myself at the moment because I think I'm not flying as well as I should, and I think I may just have to accept that I'm going to go a bit slow on the task rather than end up landing out. Sure, the thermal is better than what I've been finding here, but right, okay, well let's carry on. Try another turn, you never know. There's nothing immediately to go for, so let's just see if we can improve our climb weight a bit. It's an interesting thought that the number you set the McCready to perhaps needs to reflect how well you're doing in thermals rather than how well a good pilot could do in thermals. So perhaps a bit over-optimistic setting it to 3. But for now, I'm going to leave it there and just keep the mental note that I should actually probably settle for 2. You know, at the moment. We're certainly doing better under this now, really. May not be the best thermal in Christendom, but it'll do me. Right, so we're going to head into cloud now, so I don't want to do too much of that because it's not what we did on the actual task. So. Right, let's crack on. Get to that speed to fly. Incidentally, this lovely LX9070 nav aid with Condor 3 is great because you can customize it, and I have to put the screens you want to, your selection of screens. I don't know how to use half of them yet, but they're there ready for me to learn them as I go along. A bit fast, watch that speed. And let's try and stick to more like 90 knots really, I think it gets a bit silly otherwise. So yeah, and I can, so when you start turning, it goes into the this red screen. I'm not quite sure why it stayed in this screen because it should have moved on for it. But it goes into the thermal mode screen, which is the information you might want when you're circling. Then if I move to the next screen, I think that's more for cruising cross country. Giving you information there to do with your arrival height and stuff like that, and turning points and things. Then the next one, not sure. That's relative terrain. Yeah, I should give them all names. Actually, help me to know what they're there for. Relative terrain. I'm not quite sure what that's for, but it's what somebody suggested you do when I watched a YouTube video. And then the next one is, oh, what's that all about? Yeah, that's something or rather. And then there's another fancy one. All very good, really. I don't know what most of them do, so I just kind of fly anyway and go for it. Right. So I'm heading for this cloud here. This is see if that offers me anything. And if not beyond it, I can see a small one that looks as though it's quite newly formed, but it's a little to the left of track, really. Or, yeah. So let's see if we get this one. So I'll use it anyway to practice my sort of pulling up into a thermal technique, because I really want to try and practice guesstimating the right point at which to actually pull up from my speed to fly into my speed to circle. So pulling up from 90 to between 60 and 50 knots without too much delay, but smoothly. I'll go slightly to one side of the cloud and then turn right and pull up into it and see how all that goes. Look for the first signs perhaps of the various starting to burble, and then pull up. Start turning around to the right in hope. If I've got it right, I seem to have got that quite nicely, as long as I stay in it. Seem to have done okay with that one, don't I? And bearing in mind, we'll be a little slower to climb because of the water ballast we're carrying. I mean, you know, it would climb faster if we were unballasted, but the ballast should allow us to fly faster between thermals whilst maintaining a good glide angle. So I'm doing better in this thermal than the last one, but still not really meeting the 3-knot target, but we're not far short of it. Yeah, you can see the screen's gone into the thermal mode, and it's showing this sort of red circle here, which attempts to show you how I should be circling, but I don't really have time to understand this data it's simulated, so I'll just fly by the seat of my pants, really, which is all I really know how to do as an old wood and fabric pilot. Too much technology just distracts me, and I just probably do worse than I might otherwise. But I do appreciate these high performance gliders. You need a lot of this stuff so you can estimate things like final glide and glide to turning points and things, because they glide at such shallow angles. It's too much for the eye to actually work out. What towns have we got there? Corby, is that Corby there? Looks like it, yeah. Right, so we're going into cloud, so we'll just complete this turn, come around onto our track. Slowly open up the turn because I want to open it up into the best of the lift. That's good, and I'll keep my speed slow until the lift dies off. Okay, now we go for our speed to fly. We've got 6,300. Well, that's rather good, isn't it? I don't think we went to quite those heights on the day, but hey, what the hell? Let's have some fun. So, right, so Corby. That's Corby there under the port wing. Can't read that. What's that? At all. Kettering. Is that Kettering? There you are, behind the starboard wing. Okay. hard to lean forward like that into the screen and maintain control on the glider because you can't see anything. I'll get that settled down now. I suppose I should really have, I'll just do it now. It's silly not to just track under a cloud like this when it's only temporarily off course, isn't it? Perhaps do a quick pull up. Perhaps I'm being a bit silly doing this, but I want to have fun as well, so and practice our pull ups, you know. See if we can pull up into the left under this. Now, on the competition, some pilots were doing this. Chris Gill, one of the P1s I flew with, said it wasn't really worth it. You lost as much as you gained. I don't know, but we've certainly pulled up under the lift in that cloud and used it to top up our height. Okay, and now we need to get back on track. Sometimes you can have the serendipitous effect of lining you up with a good-looking next cloud. Not that we're in a hurry to go for one, but we might as well romp around this task as best we can. Oh, no, well, I was on track, wouldn't it? Sorry. Better. So I can see a good-looking cloud ahead of the nose, away off. But it looks quite well formed. We'll see whether it turns out that way when we get there. While I'm doing that cutting, of course, the plane is happily going to the wrong speed and the wrong heading, so mustn't do too much of that. Not if you're serious about your task speed. As I've said on so many of my other videos, I like to stay high really because I'm more relaxed if I can stay in the upper height band. Because you know, in real serious task flying and cross-country flying, you don't get that option. You know, you have to deal with all kinds of situations, and sometimes you have to cross, especially when conditions aren't set to strong like this. You have to cross a lot of sky and think very carefully about settling for a climb that may not be very good, but is probably all you're going to get in order to avoid a land out, you know. So this is a rather big cloud, so the problem we have here as well is, well, where under this cloud will the lift be? I think because it's on track, I'm just going to go for the middle and kind of hope. And if not, the cloud's beyond it, so I think if I pull up and don't have any luck at all, I'll pretty quickly I might track around the cloud a little bit, but I mustn't get too sucked into wasting my time there. That's a nice bit of the cloud. If we go around to the right, then hopefully one way or another we'll bump into something. Should have the needle starting to burble. Gone through the sink, so I'm going to start pulling up here. Hope to bump into things. Going to go around to the right. Hope to bump into something. Doesn't seem stunning, does it? But we'll see. Not connected with it yet. Don't think it's going to be a stunner, this one. So I think we'll move on. We'll be strict with ourselves. I mean, this is one of the things, is trying to get the confidence between the lift is poor because you can't fly it well enough, and the lift is poor because the cloud isn't that good. And of course, Condor will deliver you a selection of clouds that are, some of them I think tended to look good, but they're not necessarily that good when you actually get there. So let's head slightly to the left of track to take us under this one, I think. Yeah, I think so. I don't know why I think so, but it's what I'm going to do. Strictly speaking, if I turn for that one, now that would be on track, but I think to myself, I think I want to give myself 2 chances at this, so I can go for this and then turn towards something else if this isn't very good. And by that time, it might be the one that's sitting in the middle and further away between these 2 clouds, neither of which looks that tight. Well, this one's got some quite good vertical development. Not sure what that means in Condor. Strictly speaking, in the old-fashioned world, the sort of the tortoise bit of this cloud looks over here, doesn't it? So I think I'm still going to head over here, see what happens. But that's got the best vertical development, so if I don't pull up into good lift straight away, I must remember to head sort of like southeast towards that bit of the cloud, but we shall see. Condor doesn't necessarily exactly reflect real life. No, I can see a hole in the cloud there, so that's not great. I think what I shall do is I shall bearing in mind we're down to 4,000 now. Lost it. Do one more turn in this, and if I don't get a big improvement, we're leaving. Nope, we're leaving. There's other stuff over here which looks altogether better, doesn't it? Yeah, well, I don't know why. It must be a lag effect, because I thought that showed us being on track a moment ago, but I'm not going there. I'm going to go for this fella here and keep my fingers crossed. Rush to 90 knots either as well, because you know, my McCready sort of things are falling down well below 3, aren't they, really? So you need to perhaps be a little bit careful about just throwing away height by going fast. This looks a very juicy cloud, doesn't it? Surely we're going to have some luck under this. Is he going to 90 knots like I said he wasn't going to, but never mind. So we're down below 4 now. I would really like to be getting up higher. So I've got to be careful not to keep getting impatient and moving on, imagining the next one will be better, because I'll run out of options. A big cloud, you don't know which bit to go for, but so What's this one off to the side of it? It looks like it might be something new. Probably wrong going round to the left, but never mind. No idea what airfield that is. I'm sticking with this. So that was interesting. The bit I headed towards in the end was some rather thin-looking stuff that was to the side of the big heap of cloud, but looked as though it might be getting a new cell getting going, and I think it was the right decision because I bumped into some really quite good lift here. So the whole of that big cloud was not nearly as useful as it looked, but this new cell has delivered a pretty nice climb actually. I think I will take this all the way up if it stays like this. This is good enough for me. Yes, it's interesting. The S10 is reporting like 6.3 knots on the average, isn't it? It's strengthening all the time. It's a good climb. Yeah, there's now a lot of cloud above us, so whatever it was has really expanded and got going. Keep coming out of the best of the lift and having to sort of recenter and go back into it, but I don't manage to stay in it for some reason, but never mind. We're doing all right. Open it out just a bit. Yeah, 3 meters per second up to cloud base. Tempting to go in a cloud a bit, but we didn't really do much of that in the real competition, so perhaps I shouldn't overdo the going in a cloud. I think it kind of spoils the whole sense of flying the competition. So we'll just slowly straighten out on track on this. Until the lift dies, we'll just okay. Get the nose down, go for it. So a little over 6,000 there, okay. Where's our next victim? There's a couple of things up ahead. Of course, we're heading down towards the turning point now. I mean, we've still got, 90 kilometres to go, but I don't particularly like being too low near turning points because it means I've got to be looking for a climb, and unless there is one short of the turning point, then I might be forced to kind of go beyond the turning point to the next good looking cloud, which adds to my task distance, and I'd rather not do that. So I feel much more comfortable if I happen to be high going into a turning point, because I can just go around the turning point and then evaluate the sky after it and look forward, look ahead for something I'm going to take. But right now there seems to be a reasonably good looking cloud ahead, and still short of the turning point, so let's see how that goes. So we'll try pulling up onto this one, see whether we can top up. And there's, one's beyond it as well, so we're quite nicely lined up for some clouds here if we don't have a look at one. I mean, I think boulder pilots would just say, just don't stop at this point, but I never like getting too low because, well, this is what happened to us on the real flight. Once we got past I think it was Northampton West turning point, Oxford, we got low, and it cost us trying to make it up. So let's see what's going on here. We'll keep going. I'm going a little bit slower, just. Okay, let's see what we get here. Use the trimmer to get the stick unloaded, but it doesn't really work as well as in a real glider. Seems to be a pretty good climb. Actually going around at 60 knots here as well, and I'm not getting any worse for it, so back to 51 knots, 55 knots now. Good climb again, this, good climb, right on target. Peterborough over the nose, okay. Another turn, shall we? It's just too nice not to do it. Looks like you've flown out of the cloud. Okay, well, straighten up on track. Overshot a bit, never mind. Cloud disorientation there, right, okay. 6-4, nice. So after a climb like that, we'll reward ourselves with a fast speed to fly, I think. Wang round the turning point. Oops, watch your speed, watch your speed. Don't get too silly. Coming from there, but hang on. Now, one interesting thing is that I can't see with the VR helmet on, but I have to get around this turning point, and then the next leg takes us down to the finish point for the first half of this task. And I've got to arrive there at an appropriate height to match the real world task, and I've got to hope that all that works. And the thing there is that there's some lift around this. Let's just get this TP done. We're going back there. There's plenty of drift down that way, I think, isn't there? So we'll just get around the TP. Yeah, so I've got to, I think I've set the finish up so that it won't work if I arrived at below a certain height, but I've never done this before, so we shall find out when we go to do it. Okay. So we've got a collection of clouds here. Hopefully there's something along the way that'll do us. Now, slightly more into sun, so the sky looks a little different. But, I mean, this could be something, but whether it's worth we should move on for now. Lots of clouds up here, aren't there, really? I always hate it when you think you might have left a real corker behind. We don't want to be too much of this. I mean, we're barely below 5,000 here. big clouds, you don't quite know what bit you might pull up underneath. Will there be a separate cell here or not? Let's pull up and see what we get. Climb. Just slowly head off. Yeah. Okay. There was something a bit odd about this. This task seems longer than I thought, but hey ho. It is what it is, we're flying it now. Stonky grey cloud here, isn't there? I'm going sort of underneath it, even though I'm slightly up track. So I suppose we've got to try and head for the turning point, really. Take what we get. Right, come on, go for your speed to fly. Don't care what Chris Gill says, I quite like pulling up under lift. So if we go straight to the turning point, there's a great big gap here, isn't there, really? Sure, that's such a good plan, really. The wind coming from the left a bit. Let's just keep slightly off track to the left. I think a bit of insurance. Fly, make sure we fly fast if we do. And then we can adjust our line, perhaps along this line of clouds up ahead. Just heading straight down the middle of a blue gap like that doesn't fill me with joy. Although, you know, there could be a thermal kicks off in the middle of that, but I never like it really on a predominantly cumulus day. It's really funny, this Condor VR, because I mean it is so realistic. I'm talking just like I'm in a real sky. I mean, it's completely real to me. If I want to. Let's just do a turn or two to the hell of it here, shall we? Gather your lift where you may. Whoops. If you do it properly. I think I kind of cocked up pulling into that one, but there we go. No, let's not dick around with this one. You don't need it that badly. You don't need it that badly, so just straighten up and go on your way. And now as I look ahead, you see there's plenty of clouds not too far off, so I've avoided the big blue gap. Right, that's the lift gone, so let's get back to our speed to fly. No, well, never mind, I'm not mucking around with that. Take what we can out of it and go. Go, go, go. It's a reasonable gap to cross now, but I'm going to go for it because I've got 5.5. Good looking clouds ahead. Is that graph of water slightly ahead of the nose? It might be. I don't know whether I can identify things like that on my map. White up ahead. What's this underneath us? No idea. Whoops. Sorry, when I'm doing that, I'm not watching the speed on the plane, so silly me. Throwing height away when you do that. Okay, let's have a bit of fun. What was that there that we just went through? This is completely unnecessary and going to lose me time, but I'm just so curious about what that was in the blue sky. I'm turning back to see if I can find it. No, and I don't think I can I? No, I'll come round again if we don't find it. Oh, here it is. Just curious about what it is. I just wanted to illustrate how there can be lift in the blue because the cumulus hasn't formed yet. So let's just hang around in this just for the fun of it and see whether a cloud develops above us. It's not great lift, but it's no, I think we've got to crack on really. Sorry about that. A little diversion, but hey ho. Just out a bit of interest to the flight. So yeah, what is that water up ahead? Is that my geography's not good, but I know one of the big bits of water somewhere vaguely around here is Grafton water, but there's an airfield off at our 2 o'clock. No idea what that is. Let's get the other speed to fly going. Where there are bits of water, it's not telling us what they are, is it really? Whiten, just passing over Whiten. That must be the airfield there, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, I'm not paying attention at all. I'm supposed to be going for that cloud. Better get back to flying, really, or I'm going to get myself into trouble. Nice to do a bit of touristing as I go along though. And what's that airfield there? It's a shame the map can't just show me a little bit more. Is this Huntingdon? Looks like Huntingdon the town, doesn't it? Don't know what the water is. I was trying to say something. No, it's not going to tell us what the water is. And I need to be watching my speed. Got a way to go, and I mustn't get too casual about all this. There was a good looking cloud there, but we chose not to go under it. Maybe this one will give us a bit, because we've got a bit of a gap after this, so if it was any good I'd prefer to top up. It's not a great looking cloud though. We may have to press on. so. No. No, I think we've got to move on, really. What I've not been doing enough of actually is keeping my eyes peeled for a new little cumulus that's just popped up, because that's something that Condor does and the Real Sky does, that you should be keeping an eye out for. There's a little one just over the nose there. Is that something that's just getting started, so that I don't have to go quite as far as I thought I did to my next climb? Let's track towards it and see, even though it's a little bit off course, but not too seriously. And we'll just watch out in case something better develops us a bit more on track, but we're virtually on track, really. Let's go a little faster. Yes, I think that cloud is developing a bit, isn't it? So let's see what it gives us. Cautious about going too fast at the moment, because we're not sure how much there is about. We're 4-5. I never like getting below 4, really. Things start to get a bit more tense after that. You have to start sort of being more careful. Yeah, whatever that cloud was, it's got a bit kind of muddled. I think I might just head here to this fella here, see what he's got to offer. I hope it's something decent. See, ones like that, I mean, it looks very good, but I've got to definitely go over there to get it. And if it isn't that good, then I've wasted quite a lot of time doing it. Definitely over there, won't we? Lots of sink at the moment. Interesting texturing on the water down there. Nice climb, 7 knots on the averager. Cloud again. We'll slowly straighten up on track here. Watch that speed. Oopsie daisy, that was a bit mad. That was a little bit of a in-cloud loss control there. Need to practice my cloud flying some more. That's because I tell you why. It's because I was trimmed fully back, and of course. It's not like the real life stick, and you kind of forget what you're doing with the stick. That's what happened there, I think. Right, so let's set off at about 6, okay? So Oxford East, right. So at the moment we will arrive. Let's see the screens we've got. Yeah, we'll arrive at minus 2,000 feet. So we need. And of course we're supposed to arrive there at something, I don't know, around 4,000 or something, I think. So we need to get some more climbs, obviously. That's 85k away. Even a thing like this, that's away. Neos there, isn't it? Yeah, looks like St. Neos there. So that's St. Neos there. What is that up there? No idea. No idea. Yeah, no idea. Right. Don't get too sucked in. Work out why the tracking information changes so rapidly. There must be a lag going on. Yeah, it's as though I'm chasing the bearing. It's almost inviting us to go under this cloud, really, isn't it? So let's just do that, just in case it's stonkingly good. Here. This is Condor, you know, so you've got to make allowances there, really. So you see, a moment ago, having been told this was the direction to head, that little those red numbers there with the double chevrons to the left, it's now changed its mind, and I should be 11 degrees to port. But anyway, while we're under this, we'll see what we get under this, if we get anything, and if we do, we'll grab it. And if we don't, we'll just see if we go on a little bit. If we shift to the left, we line up with more clouds anyway. But let's see what we get. my flying's a bit sloppy here, really. Spending too much time sightseeing and not enough actually focusing on the task. Can't even use the excuse for talking to you lot a lot. So what the hell is that? No, I'm not stopping for it now, we're through it. Stincy, a bit of lift though, isn't it? It's almost worked well enough in a straight line not to bother with it. But let's put some speed on now. We seem to be able to just non-stop clouds, don't we? So as long as they're good clouds, we'll go with them, or don't we? Okay. What's this town coming up? Bedford Castle, so is that Bedford? And if that's Bedford, is that Cardington? Could well be Cardington, could it? Probably is, isn't it? Because after this there's a bit of a gap in the sky, isn't there? This big thing here. Should we go on to this one just in case this is a new bit that's got something? Let's give it a go. Offer something, we'll go into the main bits of cloud and see what they've got to offer. Very exciting. going to worry about that cloud. No, it's the first time that it's actually told me I've entered cloud, oddly enough. It's very strange. How odd. But there we go. And strictly speaking, there's penalties for entering cloud, but since I'm not flying some kind of competition that has penalties for cloud, I'm not bothered. But interesting. Certainly that was, I didn't know the exact height, but it was about 6.5 almost. 6.4 anyway. So, right, okay. That set us up for a nice glide, didn't it? Good climb, that. And it looks as though that first bit of cloud before the main bit was the right bit to go for. So let's now crack on properly. Speed drop off, come on now. Supposed to be moving along here. Had a lot of fun flying the day 6 task yesterday, so do try and watch that if you get the chance, if you made it far enough into this one to hear me make this remark. But yeah, it was a lot of fun flying with the Ghost and trying to compete with them, and it was quite a nail biter really for me. Whether you'll get the sense of nail biting or not, I don't know, but it's very interesting because the Ghost had flown a pretty good time in the first place, and I didn't particularly think I could beat it, but I won't tell you what happened, but it made for an interesting tussle and some very comical moments, especially at the launch end of things. So we'll track under this cloud in case, I suppose. best climb of late, but it's not too bad. This is Lewis, I think. Maybe do another one. It is picking up, isn't it? Right, so we'll take you to the top, really. Having stayed around for this long. Let's head off. Big mass of cloud ahead. Track though, is it really? So let's go. If we bump into it, we do. Yeah. So what is this town ahead? Is this Milton Keynes or something? My terrible geography. Milton Keynes with the M1 there, might be Newport Pagnell. Watch your speed, watch your heading. But Milton Keynes doesn't seem quite right for heading for Oxford, does it really? So. Should learn my geography. This is a slight limitation in the virtual reality world. It's not as though I can just pull out my map and just have a little look at things on the map and study them in that kind of way. I have to just try and put my head in a redis, and of course while I do that my flying tends to go a bit all over the place, but hey-ho. Right, so heading here now. What are the clouds like? Very new chowdy look about it, isn't it? Bletchley, Bletchley, right. Well, there you go. Here we might take a little climb on if it's any good. It seems to be Bletchley, doesn't it, all this? I don't know what that bit is. I'll read it. Bletchley. I don't know Simpson or something. God knows. Watch the speed. Keep an eye out for your climb. Gonna be good enough. Not that great. Not that great. It's okay, but picking up a bit. And we're getting close to final glide, of course, aren't we? Like it. Well, you know, we're back at Cloud Base. Let's put in another turn for the hell of it, shall we? I'd like to go to Cloud a bit. Let's have another one for old time's sake. Yeah, we'll straighten out on this one, I think. Okay. Should have pulled up more decisively and sooner if I really wanted to dolphin there, but anyway, just for a bit of fun. Fast. gap we're crossing here, isn't it? A very obvious grey cloud at the moment, but there's plenty of clouds ahead, but let's wait and see. And you can obviously like detour a bit, can't you? Slightly off track, so let's not do that for a moment. Hope this thing up ahead has got something, or something beyond it has. You see, now it tells me I need to go 6 degrees to the right. It's very strange, that. I don't know why it's wandering so much. There's not much wind, and it's 8 knots or something, I think, so I don't quite know what's going on there, but anyway, we better do as we're told. Right, so I'm not going to pay any attention to it now. I'm just going to look where the cloud I want might be. Something around here looks as though it might do us something, doesn't it? Let's hope it does. 4-4 now. I'm slowing up just a little bit. Hoping there's something amongst this lot, or else straight beyond it. A big mass this, but quite where the lift is underneath it, I'm not so sure. Have to wait and see. Good job on this one. Picking up. It's slow to get into it, but it's picking up. Good enough. And you know, you do get tired in VR, just like you do in a real flight. And old geezer like me, not a hugely seasoned pilot, it's all quite challenging. Cloud again a bit, shall we? The lift is enticing as this. It's irresistible not to. Well and truly flying in instruments here. Okay, let's strain now. Watch the speed. Watch that speed. I haven't been doing some cloud flying for a while, so I'm a bit, excuse me, pretty poor really. Managed to just avoid stalling anyway, that would not be funny. Right, okay, so 6.5, let's go. Let's go, and only 200 feet by final glide, but of course, quite what that means, does it know that my finish is set at several thousand feet? It probably doesn't. Probably just thinks I can sort of fly to the ground or something. Don't know. Quite interesting. I think I'm a bit fatigued after flying one task yesterday and then doing another today. It's a bit like an old man's version of being at the real 2018 UK Nationals, where it was tiring flying every day, but of course I wasn't P1 every day, so God knows how tired I'd have been if I tried to do that, especially with my inexperience. It would have been too much for me, I think. Whoa, watch that speed, dude. Doesn't need to go to 100 knots there. Quite on my game today, really, but never mind. Certainly burning down the miles here. Hopefully, well, I was going to say hopefully we only need one more climb, but if we've got to finish the task at something like 4,000 feet, that's not really the case, is it? Got to do rather more than that, I think. Go for. What's that airfield? Is that like something major? God knows. No idea. Get out of this in case. Let's go left just for the practice. Nice climb. You want to straighten out here. Hey, busting through the cloud. Get that trimmer forward. So we're 95 feet above final glide now. Whatever that means. So, where are we heading now? This way, right. So onto that big dark cloud. That's quite nice. I'll have some of that. Not long to go now. So that's quite interesting. Perhaps it's suggesting that we will actually arrive at the height we need to arrive. We shall see. We shall see. If I can pull up and dolphin onto this, I will. And for the rest, I'll just crack on at speed. Tell you what, let's see if we can try and hold that arrival height in the positive by not overdoing it on speed a bit too much. This way a bit. Never mind the big cloud. This is the trouble with dolphining, of course, is that if you pull up for nothing, you really have wasted energy. Oops, get away a bit. No. Suckering me all the time, isn't it? And all I've gained is 30 feet on my arrival height from all that fooling around and lost a bit of speed in the process, but hey, we're doing all right. Bloody well should be in these strong conditions, really. So I guess that's Oxford up ahead, isn't it? It's funny, it looks sort of smaller than Bletchley. I would have thought it was bigger than Bletchley, but there you go. Perhaps we're a bit higher or something makes it look smaller. So is this... what's this then? Would this be the M40 or something, the crossing? Doesn't say, does it? But but if it is, then places like Bicester and Weston-on-the-Green, where I learned to fly, are up there to the more or less to the sort of the north, or slightly west of north. Whoops, don't need speed decay. Keep that speed on. Yeah, it looks as though I must have set the finish up okay, because we're 33 feet above the arrival height, and we're still at like 4,700 feet. So, and I do vaguely seem to recall setting it up because on the real task, we made this turning point at something like 4,500 feet or something like that. And it was after that that the sky got dodgy and we got low. But that's for the part 2 of this task, which I won't do today. I'll do it another day. Do it as a separate video, and then we'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting because if I fly that task on a separate occasion, I'm going to hit what could be real crap when I haven't really got my flying settled in either, because there's no doubt over this flight that my flying has settled in from the beginning. It was kind of nervous and poor at the beginning, and I've got much better at going straight into the thermals and coring them as I went along. Also, I think in Condor, perhaps as the day moves into the the hottest part of the day, like mid-afternoon, I think perhaps the thermals get stronger as well in Condor. I think it takes account of all that kind of stuff. Very good, really. Very good, all the stuff it does. Oh, we're 53 feet below the thingamajig now, so that's no good. We can't be below it. We can't afford to be below it. We've either got to slow up or we've got to take a circle or two. We've got so little distance to go. What a shame. I haven't managed my speed quite as carefully as I could. I've only gone to this cloud to see whether I can just take a turn or two. Just get myself above it. But it doesn't matter. Yes, it looks as though wherever the turn point is, there's no cloud there. So if we're going to try and get a few turns in it, we're going to have to do it here, aren't we? So we'll just take enough to get us over the line. Careful and fly slowly over the line the last little bit. It's not far, is it? We're not doing a great climb here. Right, that should be plenty. Come slowly round so we can right, let's go for the line. So it's Oxford East. So I think it's like a service station somewhere amongst where these roads all join, I think. Can't quite make out a service station, but anyway. So let's just go for it now. This better be the finish of the task because I've messed it all up if it isn't. We shall see. We shall see. We're going to arrive about 30 feet above our minimum, so that's pretty good, really. Or 25 feet above, 20 feet above our minimum. Thank God. Yay! Excellent. Fabulous. Right, so now here's an interesting thing. What do we do for landing? Shall we have a bit of fun and see if we can fly onto Weston-on-the-Green and just try and guess where Weston-on-the-Green is from here? Let's just fly up this way. If we have to land in the field, we have to land in the field, but we can have a bit of fun, can't we? We don't need to fly fast or anything now, but we can pop in and see my old mates at Weston-on-the-Green if we manage to get there, if we can find it, because of course with no kind of map or anything I am left trying to sort of work out where Weston-on-the-Green might be from here. Enstone is there, right, okay, and it's probably a little to the right of Enstone, so let's just go this way. Oh, there's Weston-on-the-Green. I don't know how to set this up on here, but let's just get let's turn onto the right heading and make a note of the heading. So it's at about 357. Okay, that'll do us for now. Due north, that'll do. Yeah, excellent. Due north should do us. I don't know, but could that even be Western? I can see there. It might be Western that's well on the nose. So let's not panic about a climb yet. We may well be an easy gliding range of Western. If that's it on the nose, and it does look a bit like it. Excellent. Well, that the old LX9070 has been quite a useful navigate there, I think. I've no idea what distance out of them, but it's not very far, is it? So my call sign is Bravo Sierra, so if I was calling up, I would say Western base, Bravo Sierra, 10 kilometers out, approaching from the south. Expect to be overhead you in a few minutes. Requesting permission to join your circuit and land. Please advise direction you're landing in, because it's a light wind day, so you can't be quite sure. But having said that, since the wind is more or less northwest at 8 knots, they're probably landing on the westerly run, which means that I probably want to, it is western over the nose, I want to land from right to left, I suppose. It'll probably be their pattern. But since there's nobody actually there, we'll just sort of crack on with it. So we'll put the nose down. In fact, I could call them up and say Western base Bravo Sierra, expecting to join your circuit at low key point and do a left-hand circuit onto your westerly runway. Please advise local traffic. Something like that. I'm really not an expert on how you're supposed to talk on the radio, so the experts will be laughing themselves, howling with laughter as to say something like this. Hey, whatever the hell. So if we're going to do that, and we're still at 3,000 feet, let's open the brakes a bit. And we can lower the wheel, do all that stuff. We can also dump our water, which means I've got to let go of the stick while I lift the visor temporarily. Sorry about the noise. A quick look at our plane, dumping water. Yeah, there it is, dumping water. You can see all that, and you can see our air brakes are out and our wheel is down. And whether you can make out how we're heading for Western, especially since I'm not flying it very well at the moment. Where is Western in this F2 view? Oh, there it is. It's over there. So I've no idea what my airspeed is, but it's probably okay. So we're heading for Western, dumping water. Air brakes out. Are the air brakes fully out? Yeah. Oh no, let's get them fully out, shall we, just for fun, so you can get a good look. In fact, we can fly in towards us and have a good look at it. There you go. So there's our plane that's just done this task, heading in towards Western. Now, it's quite nice to actually get an external view. I don't bother to do this very much. Look at the detail, the little wheels and the wingtips, everything. It's quite interesting trying to judge your angles as well from the F2 view. I think we're coming down okay, but at some point I want to get back in the cockpit and fly the plane again, so let's do that now. Oh, there's information down there. Right. Okay, we're back in the plane. Oh yeah, that's fine. We're all nicely on the right trajectory. Heading to join them at kind of low key. I mean, really low key. Should be halfway down the runway, shouldn't it? I think, but not too worried. We've got bags of height really to dump. But if you look at the angles, you look at the rate at which we're coming down at, and we're doing 55 knots. You can see we're kind of heading for an aiming point if we came straight in. So if we, I think we can bear off. I mean, you know, this is good enough. We'll close the brakes a bit just so we know what we're doing. In fact, I'm going to go Western base Bravo Sierra, request hangar landing if you're okay with that. So I shall land into the kind of slightly northwest direction, but approaching from the east. Might as well get straight in the bar and up a pint. If anybody's there, they might still be out flying. Yeah, there will be at this time. for gliders that might be on the approach and things. And obviously, you know, I've actually just gone bashing into their circuit, so you'd need to be looking in all directions here. But here we go. No worries. So we're all wolfed, you know, water is dumped, undercarriage is down, loose articles are sorted, haven't got flaps, but if I did they'd be set. I'm still flying with my brakes out here. I can probably just keep these brakes on approach for the moment, see how we go. 55 knots, that's sort of fine for a day like this. We're strictly speaking landing a bit crosswind, but it's not much of a wind, so I don't see it being a big issue. So we're turning now, and if I need to dump some out, I'll probably just have the brakes fully out, so open the brakes some more. But I can always, and I'll always side slip as well. You can side slip this thing to some extent. Yeah, trying to here. Trying to side slip, but it's a bit awkward because I've got the rudder combined because I haven't got rudder pedals. So I have to twist the joystick for extra rudder, but I've still got combined rudder and aileron. But yeah, it's bringing us down quite nicely at the moment, isn't it? So let's just straighten it up and close the brakes a touch, perhaps. Our speed's a bit slow, isn't it? We let it go below 50 knots there. Just gently get the speed on again a bit, just to be safe. These brakes open a bit. Their hangar and trailers there, isn't it? So get a bit more brakes on. You want to be on the ground really sort of in good time. You don't want to push it too far. Close those brakes up, see if we can get persuade the plane to roll on a bit. Don't know whether we will, but we can try. See how far we can get. Gently turn it around without getting the wing down. Oh, we are just having a bit of a glitch there. Ready with the wheel brakes, drop just short of the track. Here we are at Weston. Hello chaps, that looks like they're a steer there. No, maybe not. Looks like a two-seater actually, I'm not sure what that is. K21 maybe. Anyway, that's the end of this flight. That all went rather well. It'll be interesting to see what speed we actually did on this. I'll try and post those details in the conclusion when I sort of make up the actual video file for YouTube. So I hope you didn't find it too excruciatingly boring. Quite enjoyable actually, that really, a good old romp. And I'll see you on the next one, which will be part 2 of this flight, which I think is shorter. And of course if I actually get low and can't climb away and land in a field, it will be extremely short. It'll be a land out. But if that happens I might want to redo the flight because I'm not sure how interesting it is to see me land out. Right, okay. Bye for now.